Hi there, I'm Karen Dunn of KMD Productions. From the equipment manufacturers to the engineers to the business people behind the scenes. Over the years, every member of the Pro Audio corner of the music industry have become family to me, and it's my job to bring the whole eclectic crew together. Each episode, I'll introduce you to one of these characters and open a window into my world of creating community in Pro Audio. Thanks for tuning in to One and Dunn. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of One and Dunn. Today, my guest is Gredel Berrios. She's the Executive Director of Facilities, Operation, and Client Services. Gredel and I have known each other for at least 11 years, and we've done 11, 12, 13, 14, about 15 events together on the lot at Sony. Yes. So I have a bunch of questions, but I don't want to start because I was just on the Sony lot. We had our mix event recently, and I wanted to talk to you about the Holden and the Quinn because I think it's just those two rooms. I know that during COVID you redid everything basically, but I want to talk about those because I thought it was so fascinating how you approach the design. I'm not talking about the acoustical portion of it, but the feeling of the room. So can we talk a little bit? Let's start with the Quinn. Can you talk a little bit about the history of the Quinn and then how you went about making sure the vibe was right in the room?
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to talk about these things because you know what? We put so much effort into what you're talking about, right? Is not only everything has been driven with the Atmos upgrades, right? That started 15 years ago, I want to say. But for us, the aesthetics, they're so essential. And it's just about that mood that we want people to feel once they walk into the stage. So we inherit these stages. There's so much history. We inherit these stages that had a certain look. We have one that looks like the Lancaster is like, if you go to Vegas, right? That kind of feel. Then you come to the Quinn. The Quinn is a Japanese-inspired stage. And we had acoustical problems because the paintings that are on the side, which you'll get to see, were done with acrylic.
And they were painted right on the walls, right? So there was no sound
They were actually
absorption?
Canvases actually. But there was acrylic, so there was, the sound of the stage was never quite right because of that. So that said, when we have the challenge of, we left the Quinn to the last for a purpose because we're like, we don't want to, who's going to take away the paintings? We don't want to be those people. So Birch Lane, which is my partner in crime, he's the head of engineer, he kept going. And this was kind of like his baby. And he's like, no, we need to find something. We need to change it. So long story short, Meyer Sound has his technology where they print on canvas, but then it's sound absorbent. The stage looks exactly the same. The paintings actually are still behind the originals, what the new print images are, right? Uh-huh. So when we came here, we're like, okay, so what's been the biggest challenge and the most interesting thing is being like, how do we modernize it without going too far? We love keeping the essence of these stages. So what we did was, especially for the Quinn, we want to make sure that there's this atmosphere of what's actually behind me, which is the lounge area. So we have adapted every stage with every upgrade to make sure that it can accommodate and support these teams that spend 10, 12 hours. I mean, imagine just a Spider-Man, Venom, all these movies that people are just here for a long time. So we need to make sure that they have an area where they can lounge, they can chill. Then there's working stations. So this particular one was one that was a little challenging for me because I'm like, okay, how do we make it look nice, chill, and still follow the theme of the stage? So, I mean, the funny story is I even when we did the order for the furniture, I even had another sofa. And when it came in, I'm like, no, I got to send it back. This is not, I'll use this somewhere else. And then until we found this furniture that we have. And it's amazing because everybody has something to say about the feel of the room. So the first thing that I do is, I go and basically do a little research on the design, the elements. So we wanted to be, again, we didn't want to push because they're so busy on the stage because the images is what should be, those are the conversational pieces. We wanted this area just to be chill. And we accomplished that. The entrance of the stage is beautiful. It's this amazing stone wall that has this tree. And it was the original concept was they were going to do some slats to continue the design of the room. And literally I'm sitting there, I'm like, no. And then Lane, my partner, is like, I don't know, whatever. He goes out on vacation, and when he comes back, I'm like, I nix it. We're doing something completely different until we got what we got. And we cannot get enough comments of the vibe and how cool it looks.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. Tom Kenny and I went in there before our event, and I remember it feels great in there. And then you walk out, and Tom said, I feel like I should be having a cup of tea.
Yes.
It's amazing. So what kind of research do you do? And do you think like you have the muted colors and all that? Is that really play? Does it really play an important part in the overall feel and the way the people who are working in there actually are able to settle in?
Yes. I mean, at 100%. Like, again, not only providing the areas for them to lounge or work, colors is everything, right? How it makes you feel. So for me, and this is a personal thing for some people. Like for me, red is an accent color, but I couldn't be in a room that's all red because it stresses me out. Right. So the idea is that people walk in and the movie's going to be stressful. There's deadlines, there's all sorts of stuff going on. We don't want to add tension. So it's very intentional what we do. The muted colors, because we wanted it to be a part of the stage, not the conversational piece of the stage. That's why we have the ceiling, we have the walls with the paintings. So we wanted people, I mean, if you can see, it's a low sofa. So it's pretty chill. And it's very different than other stages, right? Because every stage gives you a different vibe. And that's what's cool about our facility.
Well, talk about the Holden now, because the Holden is it's like an Art Deco studio.
The Holden was, for me, it was blue, all blue, and metal and dark. And I'm like, I feel like this is Frozen's house. Like, I need warmth. We need to make this warm. Like, it wasn't inviting, right? It is a beautiful stage, but it was so cold. And again, like literally, I walked in and I want a jacket. I want to just so that was my main thing. And I'm like, we need to add wood. That is just going to, we need to make it homey, which is what we have on the other stages. We have done that with the other stages. So this is the first stage that when we extend platform, right, because of Atmos. Right. And then when we extended the floor and fixed the credenza, this is the first time that we decide just to do all wood. Usually it's wood and then carpet. Mm-hmm. This time I'm like, no, it's monumental. We want to see this wood, and it made the room feel so cozy. Now there's a touch of not only cozy, elegant, and that's what I wanted with that stage, right? It's just that it is William Holden. So that was a major factor for me. I'm like, I don't want to use colors. It can't be too gray. It can't be too black. We need to bring the warmth. And that was very important for that stage. And we accomplished it, actually. It looks amazing. We're super happy with the outcome of that stage.
Yeah. Now, when COVID hit, everybody shut down. But Sony decided to revamp a lot of things.
Yes, we did.
And then you continue revamping through the writer's strike.
Yes,
where
we did.
You don't have money coming in, but you're putting money out to update all this stuff. What was the mindset behind that?
Well, I think one of the most important things that we have is a facility, a studio that supports us, right, and believes in our business. Right. That is essential. So having the facilities team backing us with all these projects, which we had in scope to rebuild, but once COVID hits, we were in the middle of our first project, big one, which was Lancaster. And it took, do you remember the permits? Oh my God, who can be here? Who cannot be here? But then, you got to think smart. We're like, when we shut a stage down during regular production, you're losing money. Mm-hmm. So we might as well just do it now. Do it now and do it right. So we focus a lot on not only stages, but more than stages. We built a client lounge on the TV side, fixed bathrooms. I mean, you name it. That's what the focus is like. People are going to come back, and we want them to come back to an even better facility, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the plan all along. Like, we're just going to go, and we just went for it.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. Every room I've been in there is just amazing. So, okay, you're the Executive Director of Facilities, Operation, and Client Services. What does that mean?
So my position, I started with Sony in 2005. I started with ImageWorks, then I moved to animation, and then while I was doing my last movie, I worked in the editorial department for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Actually, I was a client here. And they were looking for someone to come and build the client services department. So I have a hospitality background. And one executive mentioned to the executive that was looking at that time, he's like, oh my God, I got the perfect person for you. I just had my first baby on that movie. I was looking for a change, editorial, it's amazing hours. So I was like, I think I'm done for a little bit with animation. So I came here and built the client services department. So that is basically, we're the skeleton with the engineers, the backbone of this facility. We are here, we have services that no other facility have. We escort our talent from the gate to our stages. We bring them, we offer our afternoon. Sorry, cut. This thing keeps. I wish I wasn't using them now. Okay, so our client services team provides all the support for productions and our facility that's needed, right? Again, like I mentioned, we're the backbone of the facility for special events, you name it. What a particular movie needs, that's what our department is for. It sounds simple, but it's very complex. We have services like I said, escorting, arranging, screenings for our talent or any special needs for a particular production, right? So after 3 years of doing that, I started noticing all the things that were needed in the facility. And I'm like, we need to upgrade. And Tommy, my former boss, now retired, Tom McCarthy, he was funny. He was focusing so much on the upgrades. I'm like, there's more that needs to be done here. We cannot have the lobby needs to be upgraded. It's an old facility, like everything else. The upkeep of anything like this is huge. So there wasn't one person really responsible for that. So I sat him down and I pitched this idea. I'm like, I have an idea. I want to create this new position, which is the operations position for sound. And he's like, operations? So he's thinking stage managing. I'm like, no, facility. We need to take care of this facility. And with that comes the streamlining processes and all of the other things that encompass, which he was like, okay. I'm like, let's give it a try. And he's like, let me think about this. Goes 3 weeks later, comes, let's give it a shot. So that's when I started full on devoting my most of my time, 80% of the time, to operations. And then I have client services under me, but client services was already built and it runs smoothly. Uh-huh. So that's how the position came about. So I am responsible for forecasting all the changes that come into the facility, like we need, whether it's bathrooms, whether it's a pantry, whether it's an office, more editorial space. I'm saying this, but it's myself and Lane Birch, which is our technology, right? Engineer, our head of technology. Yeah. So we work together in creating I'm already in fiscal year 28 at this point. Wow. So we have to think ahead, right? If you're ahead, you're ahead of the game. Thinking ahead is everything. So I basically saw a need and turned it into an opportunity for me where I am super passionate about it. I have learned to love this sound industry, right? I didn't start it in sound. You become a fan, right? I say I'm the number one fan our facility. So yes, that's how my position. So I still oversee client services, but I also streamline processes within our facility, basically to bring us to today, right? We were just doing things we were a little behind in process. So we're getting there. We're moving forward.
So I know for me, client services is very important. A friend of mine, Rose Mancherney, worked at the record plant for a really long time. She was president there, and she brought in client services, the studio level, to a level that had never been seen before. And you are the first person that I've seen since Rose that delivers that same high quality client service value.
Thank you.
I'll just say just a couple examples from when we were there, September for the Mix event. You did all our outdoor signage. And it's something you did every year. You always did the outdoor signage. We worked together, and it helped us because it helped us cut our budget a little bit on signage, because signage is very expensive. So that was great. We end our evening with a bunch of clips from different movies, and Gredel got her team to put together some popcorn and candy for us so they could make it a real experience. And you also made sure that I was fed, that Tom Kenny was fed. And your team they're like you. So you've trained them very well, or you're picking people that work really well. And that's one of the things that really makes me happy to be coming back to Sony year after year after year because of that. So do you think that having a high level client services does impact if people want to come to Sony, in addition to the stages and everything that's great about the stages?
Absolutely. Listen, and you can ask, you can ask anyone and that works in scheduling and in this world, that food, parking, and services are more important than anything else.
Yeah.
The technology we can all have. Most studios have Atmos. Most studios have, where we stand out is not only the client services team, but the engineering support, right? It's like we got lucky, but no, we didn't. We have people hiring that know, and we make sure that the personality of fits our culture, right?
Right.
I think the most important thing is we translate this to our clients. We go away above and beyond. And that's what separates us from others, right? It's like no other hotel. When they treat you right, when they send the stuff that you like, you're going to go back. Because you're going to say, you know what? I know I'm going to be taken care of. Right? So that's what we strive, is to always take it to the next level of how are we improving? What are we going to do next for our clients? And all of these changes, and I need to say this, all that you see, it's driven by feedback. We are 100% driven by feedback. Feedback is the most necessary thing in this industry, because then you hear what they're expecting when they walked into your facility.
Right.
And service for me is everything. Talent could not be happier. It's, again, for me, it's about creating that experience. Once you say, for example, I know now that when we see a mix event, we're not as stressed as the first time.
That's right.
Because we know that it works. We know that it is going to flow because we have the same people, we have the same systems in place, and you know that it's going to be taken care of. And even when we have maybe something that comes up, we take care of it. Yeah. We don't, there's no room for, oh my God, we stay and we just stall and we're like panicking. There's no panic. It's moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems to me like you're invested in the success of, I know you're invested in the success of our event. I'm assuming you're like that with other events too. I mean, the fact that this year you were able to get the Sony store open, which we never had in 10 previous years, and also get the coffee, bean, and tea open, which we had never had. Just the fact that I threw out one idea about that and you went and did it, and then you went on your own with the Sony, it added more experiences for our attendees, which they were happy about. So every year, it's like a building. You want it to be better than last year. And working with your team is really helpful with that.
Yeah. And that was actually, it is exactly how we feel about the stage. It's like the mix event is important. We're hosting. You're coming to my house. Yeah. So we want to make sure that next time you come, you notice Coffee Bean now. And then there's the store. I think those are cool elements that, again, it is a great day, but you need to enhance it every time so that people feel like they want to come back because they're expecting more things to happen, right? So we set the bar here. What are we going to do next year? Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So When you were a little girl, did you dream of becoming the executive director of facilities and client services?
No. When I was a little girl, I first wanted to become an actor. My dad is an actor in Puerto Rico, and I wanted that. Then as I grew, everything changed. And but no, never did I ever. I knew that I wanted to be in an entertainment industry somehow. But I did not know that I will end up in post-production.
Now, you and I have had several conversations about the lack of women in audio post. And I think we both agree that there are a lot of women who don't know the possibilities and the job opportunities. So you're in this industry, but who would think, client services and director of facilities as a position? Right. So how do you think that can get solved? How do we get more women to know what opportunities there are for them?
It's having this conversation, it's having this conversation and saying, there's post-production cannot happen if you don't have a management team, right? And there's so many positions. Like everything, you need a financial person, you need the scheduler, and all those things are essential to make sure that the stage is booked when it needs to be booked, that the talent gets here, that, like what they do with the mixers, is it the right fit for the movie? Again, there's so many positions, and women, actually we're seeing more women. I'm so happy and proud that actually Kim has focused on bringing in more female talent. It's amazing. We're just about to receive another mixer that's going to be in ADR3. Again, we are, and I think that's what we are changing, is slowly changing, but the faces, when you see the mix event, you see it is male predominant, right? Because maybe they thought that sound was just a guy thing. But again, there's so many areas of this division that we need all sorts of people, right? Not only women, we need all sorts of cultures so that we can, again, the collaboration is what takes it to the next level. Right. So, yeah.
Now, if someone wants to, they're in school or they just graduated or, they want to get into audio post, what do you have a career path that you think might be good for them to follow? How do they get into it?
You know what? Maybe it's just because of where I come from and how I started in the industry. I started as a PA. I had a master's degree. And for me...
what was your master's degree in? Performing
Arts Management.
Okay.
At FIU, yes. Believe it or not, I had to set up orchestras. And
oh, wow.
Yes. It was part of the department's curriculum, right? So setting live events and whatnot. But for me is get the foot on the door, and from there, when there's a will, there's a way. I started as a PA, and what I always tell people is I never look at titles. I was never looked and seen as a PA because I own my position, and I took it always to the next level. That's, you believe in you, go for it, ask the questions. And I mean, I am lucky that I have mentors along the way that were new, and right away we're like, oh, okay, she wants this. She's like, she wants to grow. I wasn't there just to sit and you tell me PA, my version of a PA was very different than just going picking up lunches, right? I helped the producer, the line producer, and I asked questions, and I got to the point that he was giving me so that I can find all the shots in the system, because I wanted to learn, I wanted more. So for me, it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you want to go, right?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Where do you want to go?
I want to continue here. I feel I have fell in love with sound in this facility. I love the sound department. This is where I'm leaving my mark, and I think I have a long way to go. I'm not done. I'm not nearly close to being done. There's still so many other things that I want to learn. I feel lucky, but I think what's important is the people that you're surrounded. I had a boss, Tom McCarthy, and that allowed me to operate in my own way and then Kim now. So that's very important. It's the people that support you, right? They know Gredel has a way and she has her madness. I have the ADD. That's my superpower. So I work at all sorts of hours. And then why are you sending emails at this time? And I'm like, do not read. But, they let me just be, and they know that I'm going to deliver every single time because... Yeah. And that for me is more important than any position or any other company. Sony has become a home for me. Mm-hmm. So why I feel like I have so much more to learn. And now I've learned about all these Atmos builds. And again, I work daily with Lane Birch, which I continue to learn from him. I continue to learn from Kim. The future, I don't know. When Kim retires, I will run the sound department. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But
why not?
Why not? But right now I can say that I don't even bother looking because for me, I still have so much work to do.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing it, I love mentoring. I feel proud of my team. I feel, I have, for my client services team, I have 4 people that have moved to management. One of them is at Hulu as a VP of content creation. So, when you see that, yep. That gives me my high of saying we're doing something right? And you came from client services, right? It teaches you everything that you need to know. Yeah. That's it. After that, and it's all personality too. For me is voicing your opinion. That's what's going to take you somewhere else. I'm not done having my voice heard here at Sound. And I hope that I have years to go.
So you have a strong personality, to put it nicely. And you have worked and you have worked for 2 very strong personality people, Tom McCarthy and now Kim Jimenez. So how was it adapting to be, I'm sure it took you a little while for you and Tommy to hit off, right? So he's accept how you are and work through that. And then you have a new boss. So Kim's been there in that position for a year, I think. Year and a half, something?
Yes,
so
year and
not
a half,
very long.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was it going from one person who you built up this trust and total do whatever you want, Gredel, to a new person who's trying to establish herself, replacing someone who was very popular and everything was running? So how was that for you? How did you deal with that?
You know what? It's, well, first and foremost, Kim and I have a good relationship outside of work. So that worked. So I felt very comfortable with Kim. And I think what works, bottom line, is we all need to adjust and adapt, right? I was never expecting that Kim's going to be just like Tommy would be something. Nobody is the same, right?
Right.
But what I had to do was make sure that she understood what I did and that I was here ultimately to support her and this facility, right? And again, this is when I am not lying when I say I'm not afraid of having the tough conversations. You have to, and clear is kind, right? And I think people appreciate that. Uh-huh. And there's, people joke is when I'm going to say something, I go, my phrase is, may I speak freely? And, oh God, here she goes. I'm like, no, it's not that bad, but may I speak freely, right? Uh-huh. And with Tommy, actually, that set the mood a lot because he didn't get me at the beginning. He's like, she's a lot. And I'm so excited. And he's like, calm down. And I'm like, no, we're going to do this. And, after he saw everything how it was happening, they need to build that trust. Trust is everything. I always say I represent this company. I represent the person that runs this company. So for me, is show them my value because I have a value. And I think I'm here. I know I'm an impact player. But I know that this facility gives me back too. So I think Kim was, again, the cool thing is Kim is a woman. So then you can, you have that flexibility of, but with Tommy too. Tommy was such a nice guy. Like towards the end, I used to tell him that he used to have me on the doghouse, right? He's like, I never had you on the doghouse. I'm like, you did. You didn't even believe what I would, you were not nice. And he was always nice, by the way. Always nice. But what I'm saying is, it took him a while to get used to it. And, the Gredel crazy is the...
Well, you're so different than Tommy too, personality-wise, completely. completely different.
So imagine now I'm having this relationship with this guy that's been, it's been here for too long. He was like here forever.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And you know what happened when COVID happened? I think that's when we basically kind of like, he understood, oh, I get it. I get what she does. Because I was basically handling all of the policies and procedures. And he was trying to keep the facility open, right? And then every time he would come to me, I'm like, that's done. That's done. You worry about keeping the facility open. I got the rest, right? That was major. That was major for us. And well, with Tommy, he was, but he became, Tommy is this like guy that's like a teddy bear. Uh-huh. And he wants everyone to get along. And I have never seen someone evolve so much within the last 7 years. I'm like, you're just so different. I mean, always the same guy, but he was wanting to take the risk. He was, and again, people like me are pushing him to do so. And he accepted, he welcomed it. And that's so important, right? So I have a great relationship with him. And then when I went to his office and I said, can I speak freely? He would be like, okay, yes. Because it's like a shock, right? People are not used to that. So then I will be like, XYZ, da-da-da. And my job is to tell you this, whatever you do from there. And we agree to disagree a lot. Uh-huh. But again, I am not afraid. And my mom was always, you need to voice your opinion. And it's all about the words, how we use our words, right? And Kim has been amazing in a sense, like, yeah, we all had to adapt and adjust, because again, it's a new position.
Right.
Can you imagine? But now, again, it's become that we have our own relationship, like the Tommy Gredel and the Kim and Gredel, because again, she knows I have her back. My best interest is hers. And I represent, whatever we do is to represent her.
Right. I've seen a couple of situations where you have gotten her to leave so you could take care of an issue, which was best for everybody, right?
Yes.
So you were talking about that words matter, how you present things. So let's just talk about a situation that might have happened a couple of years ago to Mix Event, where there was a client who was not playing nicely with everybody. So you must have that with other situations also. So how do you keep your cool? Because you are representing Sony. Right. So you can't just go off on them. You have to, you're always so polite.
Only internal.
Yeah. So how do you keep your cool and just stand your line?
I think it's part of again, I think I use when they go high, you need to go low. Mm. And I represent this company. I cannot, again, there's no need, right? And why I told Kim to go away, and I'm like, hey, I got this. You have people that can do this for you. You told her that. Yeah.
You told her that.
She knows because she knows that, okay, she's got it, right? And that was one of the first times that I got to prove her. I'm like, no, I got this. Go, you're fine. And again, I think it's all the power of the truth too is, you give people facts. People don't want to hear things just for the sake of hearing, you get facts. And I'm very factual, very strong. I look at people in the eye. I think that's super powerful. When you look at them in the eye and I said, you say, unfortunately, and the power of the words is unfortunately, I wish, but we need to compromise. And, that's, again, when you are leading teams, it's very important how we do it too.
Sure.
So we cannot we have our times where because it's allowed. Right. But when it comes to, like you said, we represent Sony, we represent this division. So therefore, I grabbed the bull by the horn on that one and was able to. It's never comfortable, by the way. It's never comfortable. It's not like I like doing this. I'd rather not.
I was just there and I was uncomfortable. Yeah.
It is.
But
once you look at them in the eye and you just go about the law because, they were trying to, have alcohol and all that stuff on this premise. We don't have a permit. You don't have a permit. Did you tell them that you were bringing alcohol? Because as far as I know, I don't think Karen would approve that.
I've worked with Wolfgang Puck way too much. Yeah, they were very loud. Okay, so enough on that. Okay. As a woman in the industry, you have kids. Now, I did a speed mentoring event once. It was all women. And one of the things I thought was so interesting, we had women mentors, women students. And a bunch of questions came up that had never come up when we had men and women with men and women. And one of them was that she had always been told that if she had kids, her career would be over.
Oh, yeah.
So you have two young girls.
Yes.
With very strong personalities. I've met them.
Very. Yes.
So how have you dealt with having this career and then also having a family?
I have to say that I did wait till I was in a management level to then have kids. And I've very much been very career driven. And I knew I wanted kids, but I waited intentionally.
Uh-huh.
And because, again, I'm far away from my family. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I don't have support here like everybody else. It's not like I have my family around. If they were around, it would be amazing because then I have, grandma, grandpa, everybody's helping. So for me, it has been more challenging than for most. I mean, I'm not saying, again, we all have to deal with different situations and scenarios.
Right.
I'm divorced too, so that adds to the, and that's when it comes. This is where it is so essential who you work for, because there's got to be that understanding, and it's so much better to have that support, right? That that I don't know if I can use that crap happens. That yes, you're going to get the call and you have to run out. Before it was like, oh my God, you couldn't. And, now I think things have changed so much for the better, understanding what parenting means, right? And all the challenges that we're dealing with every day. And I feel very supported and lucky. And I've always had that, which is, I'm telling you, it is not the case for everybody. And it is hard managing, for the mix, I usually was here always first one in. Well, this time, no, my kid had a game. I had to go to the game. And then, I had to come here. And then I had them this weekend. So I had to leave. So, but I make sure that, I don't drop the ball for that reason. I need to make sure. And I want my kids to see that, that it is possible. That is about how we look at the situation and manage it, right?
Right.
And that if someone doesn't support that as a boss, then I shouldn't be working for that person. But that happens when you know your value, right? So it all goes along. It all goes along.
I talk a lot about community. I do a lot of things based on community, and I think how important it is. So this shows an example of how community works so well for you, single mom with two young kids, right? So if you didn't have a community, what would you do?
No. And I'm going to tell you, I know other companies, the family thing, we don't treat. I beg to differ because it creates support, loyalty, right? Loyalty, which is, you'll be amazed. It is when you support people, and I do the same with my team. It is, again, you keep people here. We don't want to go. We don't want to go because we're investing on each other, right? And that's what I've gotten, not only from Kim, the management team, engineers, we are a big family. I mean, as a company, we're not afraid to make the decisions that we need to make. That doesn't, influence. Right. But I don't agree with the family. It shouldn't be family. It's no, because at the end of the day, we are people that are going to have situations that need support. And we're there for that, right? Yeah. I love, it is my Sony family. I cannot express it enough. Like, that's what's become.
Yeah. Okay, changing a little bit. And I think this will be an easy question for you. Work-life balance. So a lot of people have a tendency to only work and not really take care of their mental health or their physical health. So what do you do to balance that out? Especially, so you've got two kids, single mom, you have a very heavy duty, lots of hours job. How do you get in any you time?
I wake up really early, like at 5, right? No, I have to go to the gym. I teach spinning, cycling.
I can't believe you still do that.
I do it, and it's for fun. And I do it, I wish I could do it more. I do it once a week here on Friday on the lot. So another perk. Where can
I go to a spin class when I'm there next time?
You can. You just need to sign a thing.
Okay. A waiver if I die,
Yes.
I won't sue you?
You won't die on my watch. But anyway, so yeah, it is important. But that's when, you gotta make sure to take time to just kind of your time, right? Just to do the gym or whatever it is that you feel. It is hard. It is really hard because you have, the kids, especially at this age, I have a 13 and a 7. So one that's totally doing homework on her own, and the other one that I need to make sure that's doing the homework, right?
Right.
And it is like I'm going in 20,000 directions, and they do complain because I look a lot at my phone, but they do know that that's what allows me the flexibility of, hey, I need to leave because today is what-da-da, and then I'm there, and I'm like, I'm checking the phone, but mommy's working. These are the things that I need to do in order to have these, privileges. So it is hard. It is, I just choose, I choose not to dwell on things. I just go.
Right.
Which you need to stop. One needs to stop and take a breather. And I usually, I'm like, this is why I love what I do, because it's like event after event and construction and projects and projects. So that's what gives me my high, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I have the ability to do so many things at the same time. Like, Kim goes crazy when she walks into my office because I have a board, right? And then when she comes in, I'm like, look at this from my computer, and I have all these open tabs. She's like, can you close some of those tabs? And I'm like, no, those are tasks. Those are tasks, woman. This is my computer. It's not your computer. So I even had to give her a part of my board. I'm like, it's my board. She's like, don't you think you should? I'm like, no, get out of my office. Go. Like, she's like, it is too stressful. Well done, come in.
That's really funny. Do you want your daughters to get into the business?
I want my daughters to do whatever they want to do. I think they have an in a sense of guidance, which is an upper hand. And in this world or any other world of business, wherever you are, knowing someone, it is actually how you get in or learn about it, right?
Right.
So I want them to thrive and do and explore whatever they need to do. I do want them to go to college. I think that experience is something that's extremely important. And it's not that I personally believe in degrees. I do, well, especially for doctors, right? Yes, for them.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But I think, again, the experience and that's how you mold yourself into what you will become at work, right? I think that is extremely important. But I have little fighters. I have little fiery ladies, and all I can say is the sky is the limit. That's it. My dad, he told my brother, I have a half brother, that went to my dad and said, I want to be a hairstylist. I didn't even remember what he was doing. And my dad looked at him and said, I don't care where you are, just be the best at it. And he did. Here we go with the thing again. And he did. So that's the same quote that I have for my kids. What do you want to be? And dream, but dream big.
Yeah.
You have to dream. Visualize it. I'm all about visualization too. Picture yourself walking into the lot, doing that boss thing, even though you don't know which one it is or what it is. That's for me super important.
Yeah. For someone coming into the industry right now, one tip you would give them?
It's someone that's coming in the industry. Wow. Again, it's all about who you know too. How do you get in? It's get the job, whatever job. It doesn't matter if you want to be in this industry. And I think it goes along with what you asked me about sound and how do we get more people, and people don't know how many jobs. This studio wouldn't operate if it wasn't for every single position that there is, from the mail department. There's stories, and those stories are real. People that went from the mailroom to directing a movie. It's just to get in. And whatever you do, do it with passion. No small job ever is teaching you something. Everything teaches you something.
Good advice. Okay, last question. It's the last question on all my podcasts. You have to pay attention.
I'm going to.
Okay, we're meeting up for dinner in LA. So where are we going to go? What are we eating? What are we drinking? I will say, what are we listening to? Because it's usually a music thing. And what are we talking about? And I will make no decisions.
You will make no decisions.
No, so you're going to decide it all.
Okay, so I think you will like, and maybe it's because I'm nearby, I think we go to Blue Ribbon Sushi at the Grove.
Okay.
Because we can sit inside or outside, depending on the weather. I think we're going to start drinking martinis. And we're going to talk about everything. We'll probably start with work, move on to the kids, and end up laughing about who knows what.
Yes. Sounds like a perfect evening.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'll be in town soon.
It is, let me know. It is my favorite place. It's so cool. I love the ambience. I love the people there. Okay. So, and then you can talk. Because now, you go to restaurants and if they're too popular, then you can hear people. I'm like, you can have a conversation.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds great. Okay, well, thank you so much for doing this. This has been awesome. I always enjoy seeing you, and this is like extra fun for me. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And you're always welcome to come maybe do a podcast from here.
Okay, see, my producers are hearing this. I'll be there.
Yeah.